Hello, and a very warm welcome indeed to Elite Business Live 2025. Yes! Well, good news. We're here in the heart of St. Paul's in the wonderful capital city of London, and also joining you wherever you're tuning in from or catching up from. On behalf of the whole Elite Business team, I'm Ollie Barrett, and it's an honour to welcome you to our day 2 with my fantastic co-host, Hannah Previtt.
Morning, Ollie, and morning to all of you. Thank you so much for coming back and joining us for a second day. As Ollie said, huge compliment that you decided to come back again and hear from all our amazing speakers we have lined up for you today.
And the bar is raised, right? It was a mind-boggling day yesterday. Hope that viewers and guests will agree with that. Hannah, any particular highlights? A bit unfair, isn't it, asking you to pick a favourite?
Well, it is. It's like picking a favourite child, isn't it? So I thought the chat with Joe Foster, anybody who watched the chat with Joe Foster yesterday, really powerful stuff. Co-founder of Reebok, of course. Yeah. He's described how it took, 10 years or something to build to revenues of $9 million. And then in the next 4, he grew it to $900 million.
And what I thought was amazing, rude to ask anyone's age, of course. How old is Joe?
He's coming up to 92.
So what struck me really hard was he could just be chilling out, and he is giving back, he's still writing books, he's still giving talks, sharing his story. And I just thought that's such an awesome sign of the guy.
And also, I thought what was really interesting, it's something I think about a lot, is the support that founders have. So he brought his wife with him. Yep. She goes everywhere with him. I think he once described her as his external hard drive. I don't know how she felt about being described in quite those terms.
I think we all feel like that about our loved ones in some way when we're totally useless and we say, what's the answer, please?
But it's that idea that behind every great founder is a great support network, whether it's a spouse or friends or family.
100%. So we have got some amazing things to come today. Let's have a quick look at the sorts of things you can look forward to at day 2 of Elite Business Live. Let's have a look at our keynotes to start with. Hannah, what catches your eye today? Well, of course, I've already been chatting with you backstage about our first keynote of the day. Who's that?
Exactly. Joseph Valente, he's already in the house, which, as you say, is great to see. So we'll be hearing from him about his meteoric rise, about how he won the Apprentice. I obviously want to know what he made of Alan Sugar.
Indeed.
So I hear very mixed reviews of the man. Oh, sorry, Lord Sugar, to give him his proper
Lord Sugar,
title.
that's right. No sugar for me, thank you. And then we've got some brilliant panel discussions. We'll chair half of those between us. We'll sort of split those up. The panel discussion I'm particularly looking forward to is about this question. Is it possible to be green, to look after the planet, and be very successful at a time when people are cutting on costs and there's a little bit of uncertainty in the air? So I've got some brilliant guests for that.
And I think that's something that crops up a lot in my reporting at the moment, is that kind of ESG and CSR is falling right down the agenda at a time when businesses are battling, increased costs.
Yes.
Can they really think about going green at the same time, or, at the same level when it comes to the priorities?
Exactly that. And so we should show our audience those panel discussions. They can see those tuning in as well there on your screen. So have a look at those panel discussions and make a note in today's diary to please tune in to those, and we'll see all of those in person. By the way, we've not just got great action for you on the main stage, we've got some breakout sessions. So you can go here at the Leonardo in St. Paul's for those, or you can tune in on live. For example, we have a session at 10:55 this morning with Chloe Clover on how to unlock your brand personality. So you can watch this here. Or online. And what you have to do if you're online is go to the What's On tab at the top of your screen and go to the interactive breakout sessions. So it's sort of a feast, Hannah, to choose from today.
Absolutely. It's going to be tricky to decide what to tune into. But just in terms of how it's going to work today, so anybody who was here yesterday know that Ollie and I divvy up the workload, as it were. So I'm on the main stage here this morning, chairing the sessions, while Ollie puts his feet up backstage. Does the backstage.
Tunes in and listens to every word, Hannah.
Backstage interviews, and then we'll swap in the afternoon, and Ollie will be up here on the main stage.
Exactly. By the way, I'm going to leave you to it, by the way. But I just have to say, because you spend a chunk of your time writing for the Times, for the Sunday Times, we all see the headlines, we all see the sort of geopolitical negativity. What's the mood in the camp when you actually meet entrepreneurs at the moment, Hannah? I'm putting you on the spot.
You are putting me on the spot. It's a good job I've had a couple of cups of tea already this morning, Ollie. So I would say that, amongst the entrepreneurs we know, there's always positivity, right? You have to be inherently a positive person to start and grow a business. but that is also mixed with quite a lot of caution at the moment. The increased costs, we mentioned them yesterday, obviously announced in the Chancellor's budget in October. They're hitting businesses really hard, of course, as they come into effect in April. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But as I say, don't want to end on a depressing note.
No, and on that, I should say, if there's anything that you wish we were asking, or that you would have asked, or that you would have said if you were on the stage, do fire in the questions. You can put your hand up in the studio, but you can also go online and ask questions too. I will see you very shortly. For now, I leave you in the very capable hands of Hannah Previtt. Hannah, over to you.
Thank you very much, Ollie. Ollie Barrett, everyone. Thank you. So, the man you're about to meet, Joseph Valente, who's our first keynote speaker this morning, he's a former winner of the Apprentice, as I already mentioned, which means he's tamed one of the grumpiest men in Britain, but also, of course, one of the best-known entrepreneurs in Lord Sugar. Since winning in 2015, he's gone on to achieve plenty more in business, building Improgas, the UK's largest independent boiler business with annual sales of more than 10 million quid before selling it in 2020. He's now running Trade Mastermind, which I'm sure he's going to tell us all about, and it helps trade businesses to grow and expand. And he's also a mentor and an author. He's also, if you follow him on social media, something of a provocateur. So I'm hoping we'll hear much more about that this morning. So please get ready to welcome to the stage Joseph Valente.
Are we well? Fantastic. Who's back for day 2? Okay, amazing. Well done. Give yourselves a round of applause for that. Fantastic. Okay, great. So my aim of this keynote is to teach you how to start, scale, and grow your business to 7 figures and beyond. But so I've got a good feel for the room. Can I just get an understanding? Who's doing up to £100,000 a year in turnover right now? Raise your hands. Okay, who's doing between 1 to 250, 500 to 1 million, and anyone 1 million and above? Okay, fantastic, good. So what I want to do with this talk here today is to, number 1, get you educated. That is the key to business growth, personal development. I want to get you motivated. I want you to believe that you can go as far as your wildest dreams can take you. And then finally, I want to help you to get results. Now, I've got to cover a lot of content in this keynote, so I'm going to be doing it at 2 times speed. Yeah, so try and keep up with me. So number 1, I want to help you guys to find new customers. Who in this room is looking for new customers in their business? Okay, great. Well, that really is in business the first domino, lead generation. The next, I want to help you to increase your revenue. We need to drive sales in our organization if we want to get growth. Who's here because they want to make more sales? Okay, fantastic. And then finally, point number 3 is we want to generate profit. We want to build a profitable business that pays us more than just a salary. So put your hand up if you want to make more profit in your organization. Okay, fantastic. Well, the secrets that I'm going to be covering today is first and foremost, number 1, how to generate consistent inquiries in your organization. Secret number 2 is how do we get consistent sales so we can start to predict our income and forecast our revenue. Number 3, why you need to understand your operational infrastructure if you want to scale up and grow. And then finally, number 4 is why you will always be the best investment that you will ever make. Now, I've come to realize after being a startup entrepreneur at 2022 many, many years ago, and now training thousands and thousands of business owners to scale up, that most people start a business because they were good at the job. Okay? Plumbers start plumbing businesses, hairdressers start hair salons, accountants start accounting practices. But in actual fact, no one is in the market really teaching business owners how to scale. Yeah. So if you want to make the transition from being a great technician, you've got to lean in and start learning about business. And I started teaching business owners how to scale and grow because in my 20s, I went from a plumber that started a plumbing company to running the largest independent boiler installation company in the UK in just 7 years. So how does a guy go from a plumber at 22 to a CEO at 29? Well, it was down to the investment I made into my education. I spent nearly £1 million in those 7 years on my personal development. And I'm a big advocate for investing in education. I'm a big advocate for coming to events like these. I'm a big advocate for reading books, watching free YouTube videos, listening to podcasts. I do it all. And I want you guys to do that too. So mindset for me is really, really important. You got to get around people that are making moves. You got to get around people that are leveling up. You got to get around winners, okay, that are going to elevate you and allow you to see the potential that you have. So I go to work on my mindset every day. It's important to get motivated as a business owner. So these are some of the things that I do to fire me up. Some of the things that I like to remember. Well, number one, learning new skills is what successful people do. And you guys are here today. Now, how many businesses are there in the UK? 5 to 5.7 million, depending on the stats that you read. Well, you guys have taken the time out today to be here. That means you're the 1% that are willing to invest in themselves because everybody else is busy running their business. They're back at base on the tools in whatever industry that they're doing what they've always done. So taking the time to work on you is absolutely vital. I want you to remember that knowledge is power. I was expelled from school when I was 14. I hated education. What a fool I was to miss out on such a great opportunity. And, you know, my little boy, he's 3.5 years of age. He will go to the best schools that I can put him in because I've come to realize that education is where it all begins. Knowledge is power. And I will do now anywhere between 1 to 3 hours of either watching YouTube or reading every single day. And remember, those results compound over time. As an entrepreneur, it's important to move quickly. Success likes speed. Making quick decisions is important. There was one thing that Lord Sugar taught me, okay, in my very, very early years of working with him. He said, Joseph, if you're going to be as wealthy as you want to be, you've got to learn to pull the trigger. Because if you sat on the fence, where does that get you guys? Nowhere. Yeah, I'd rather make a decision and fail than not make a decision and make any progress at all. So you've got to make moves. You've got to be willing to make a move. And remember, you can't solve a problem with the same mindset that created it. There is no point investing in your business until you have invested in you. If I gave you all 50 members of staff, 10 million in the bank, an office, okay, and all the resources you need to run a business, most people in the room wouldn't know what to do with those tools. They wouldn't be able to utilize them in an effective way. So it's not about having the resources. We think it's about the resources first. It's about our ability to be able to utilize those resources. So that's why you've got to continue to level and grow as an entrepreneur and a business owner. And the aim of the game is to outrun the growth of your organization. The amount of time you have been in business does not define how successful that you are. It's the actions that you take with the time that you have. Remember that, yeah? It's the actions that you take with the time that you have. You can have explosive growth in 2025 if you make the right moves. Success is a formula. It is a blueprint. It is not random. You do not need to make it up. You don't need to waste 10 years to become successful. You just got to make the right moves in the right order by finding a success blueprint in your industry and in your niche. And Finally, you've got to get out of your comfort zone if you want to move forward. Yeah? Comfort zone is where hopes and dreams go to die. And I'm here today to inspire you to make a move. Now, at age 22, I was a solopreneur that started a business. I was not a businessman. I didn't know about business. I had no business education. I'd spent 9 years learning how to be a fantastic plumber. And guess what? In day one of starting my organization, investing in a van, in some tools, in some uniform, I remember getting in that van on day one and looking at my phone and it wasn't ringing. And I remember thinking, you know what, Joseph? It's not about your plumbing skills anymore because you haven't got any customers. Your phone is not ringing. All those plumbing skills you have learned over the last decade are useless in this scenario right now. Would you all agree? Because being a great plumber doesn't get customers. Being a great marketeer is what gets customers. And I realized that growing a business wasn't going to be easy. So when I knew that I didn't have the marketing or sales skills necessary to scale, I had two choices. Ignore that problem or lean into it and solve it. And as soon as I started to invest in education, I started to build confidence. I actually started to get results very, very quickly. And with those results came this new confidence that allowed me to believe at every level that the next level was possible. Because I spoke to a gentleman earlier on outside and he heard me talking about doing 7 figures. And he said, if I can get to this one, I'll be happy. And so he's shooting for that next level and that's great. But what I want him to do is to continue to shoot level after level. And the way that he's going to do that is by building up his confidence and getting the education. When I was in my 20s, I used to say I am going to be a billionaire. And in my mind, okay, I used to second guess myself and think, is it actually possible for you? Or are you just kidding yourself? Okay, now I'm 100% sure I'm going to execute on it because of all the years of development and success and failures that are behind me, which builds my confidence up. And I started to attack the marketplace. What can't Joseph do? That's what I'm going to go and test myself on, to see if I'm capable, to see if I have more within me. And if you've got that feeling that you can do more, let's ask, who in this room's got that feeling they can do more in their business right now? Okay, that is God's way of saying to you that it's possible. That's a sign. It's a signal that you've got to make a move. Do not waste the potential that He has given you. Now, from an expelled from school 14-year-old to a plumbing business owner, I've now, over the last decade in my entrepreneurial career, done some cool stuff. Now, I'm not saying any of this to impress you at all, but to impress upon you what is possible. Because I'm not the smartest person in this room by a long shot. So if I can do it, you guys can do it. I'm 35 years of age. I've built 2 8-figure businesses in 2 completely separate industries, okay? I built a national company in trade. No one's ever done it before in just 7 years. I turned Improgas into a multi-million-pound business. I won the Apprentice out of 60,000 entrepreneurs in the UK. I had Lord Sugar as a business partner. I'm a best-selling author. I've won every award there is in the UK for entrepreneurship. Okay, I've trained thousands of businesses to scale up to 7 figures, and many of them have exited. And I believe there is nothing that I can't do. And I want you to have that self-belief, because what I came to learn is that if you don't believe in you, no one is going to believe in you. You do not need my permission to be great. You don't need your partner's permission to be great. You don't need your parents' permission to be great or your peers. You need your own permission to be great, and you need to believe in yourself. Because when you believe in yourself, it rubs off on other people. And if you want to get investors, if you want to get partners, if you want to get customers, if you want to get people to back you, they've got to know that you have the confidence in yourself and the ability to be able to execute. Now, as a small business, I face many, many problems scaling up, okay? Scaling up is a challenge. It takes failure. Okay, it takes perseverance, it takes persistence, it takes energy, it takes emotion. It's not an easy ride. Entrepreneurship, okay, you've got to be a unique breed, okay, to go through the entrepreneurial journey. It's not what most people want to do. Okay, but with entrepreneurship, remember, it's about living your life like most people won't, so you can spend your life like most people can't. There are going to be some years of pain. You don't go into entrepreneurship for immediate success or wealth creation. There are easier ways to do it. But the aim of the game is to not work aimlessly for years and years and years in the hope that your dots will align and connect. It's about being strategic and having a plan, a strategy, a step-by-step guide to get there. Now, you can learn from problems. I'm a big believer that success leaves clues. The reason I know that I'm going to create billion-dollar wealth is because I spend time with billionaires. I'm around them, I get to know them, okay? I get involved with them because they have the answers. So quite simply, all you have to do is get around the people that have been where you want to go, and they will show you the roadmap. You don't need to make it up on your own. And some of the challenges I face scaling up, and you will do too, these are standard entrepreneurial problems. So I'll fly through them based on the time that I've got. And I'm going to give you the solutions, not just the problem. But this is what I had happen to me as I was scaling. At times, I felt like I was working hard for little or no reward. Years and years and years, in fact. Because, you know, to build a successful company, you've got to keep reinvesting back into that organization. I wanted to grow, but didn't know how. I had the burning desire to get to the next level, but I didn't know where to get the answers. I used to spend all evening doing paperwork, running my trades business in the day and paperwork in the evening, thinking that doing administration was saving me money. It was costing me money because I was wasting my time doing low income tasks and not focusing on high income tasks that were going to be revenue producing. And if you are doing those small tasks in your organization, you've got to offload them and you've got to pay people. Admin is the cheapest thing to pay for, okay? Sales and marketing are the most expensive things to pay for. I couldn't find the right employees to grow until I realized I wasn't really looking or couldn't offer them anything attractive enough to come and work with me. And remember, you are your greatest asset in the early days. If you haven't got money, okay, people will come and work for you. Be an inspiring leader and they will join you on the journey. I felt like I was going around in circles. I had no systems, no processes, felt like no work got done when I wasn't in the business. I struggled with cash flow mostly because I didn't know how to manage it. I didn't know about accounting. You know, I was running a business without knowing if I was making a profit or not in the early years because I was just a great plumber. I was great at the job until Lord Sugar woke me up. 3 years I was in business until I won the Apprentice. I had a business doing nearly £1 million a month, and getting in that boardroom around a billionaire and his financial team made me realize how to properly run a business. It's not about the operational activity if you don't know your numbers. You've got to know your numbers, yeah? I was not making the money that I felt like I deserved. I never had any business training. I had no guidance or mentorship. I felt like I had to have all of the answers and do it all by myself. I didn't understand accounting. I ran the business from my bank account. And I felt like I was making it up as I was going along, and I had no goals or milestones. Can anybody in this room relate to any of those points? Yeah, I'm sure many of you can relate to quite a lot of them. But I'm a solutions guy. Yeah, problems are phenomenal. I love problems. I'm a CEO currently of an 8-figure business. I go to work for 12 hours a day to solve problems. Every problem that my team can't solve comes to me. Now, what I don't like, however, okay, is the same problem. If you bring me a problem and we come up with a solution and then tomorrow you come back and you've got the same problem, you're not going to get a good response from me because I know that that problem is a restriction. It's a bottleneck. It's holding us back. So until we move past it, we're not going to get to the next level. So actively search for problems, but use it as an indicator to show you whether they're the same ones or they're new ones. If you're getting the same ones, you're making no progress and you're not doing anything about it. If you're getting new ones, then absolutely fantastic. Now, To solve all these problems, you need the following. You need to get support. Number one, don't do this alone. Number two, you need to upgrade your knowledge. Education is key. You need to surround yourself with winners, people that are going to lift you up and motivate you. You need to invest in yourself. You need to get trained up. You need to get educated. Education will underpin everything here for each and every one of you guys. Now you've seen how I did it, you can do it too. And I'm going to jump straight into secret number one. And I want you to know how you can start to generate the right leads in your organization. You've got to think like a marketeer now. I don't care whether you're a fitness instructor, a plumber, a hairdresser, okay, you sell pet food, whatever your business does, you've got to know how to get attention, you've got to know how to build brand, and you've got to know how to drive leads, because leads drive sales. So first and foremost, we must have a proactive, not a reactive marketing strategy. You need leads every day, quantifiable leads that you can predict a conversion off to drive revenue. Word of mouth is not growing your business. Word of mouth is limiting your growth. Word of mouth is unquantifiable, okay, marketing. Now, don't get me wrong. Word of mouth are the best leads that you can get, but they are not predictable, which means that you can't predict sales. They're the highest converting, and word of mouth is a strategy that needs to be mixed with paid, because paid is the key if you want growth. Number three, if you aren't paying for leads, you can't actually sell the product and service that you want. And if you take construction, tradespeople get referrals all the time for all different types of jobs. But if they're doing everything, okay, they can't focus. You can't build a system on selling too many products and services. You've got to really niche down. I want you to remember, the riches are in the niches, okay? Focus. You don't need to go broad from day one. You need to focus, and then when you scale, okay, you can start to add on more products and services. You have to get used to spending money on advertising or staying the same. Now, my rule of thumb is anywhere between 5 to 15% of your revenue on marketing. Our business does £1 million a month right now. We spend £100,000 a month on marketing, okay? So it's 10%. If we spend 200, we'll do 2 million. If we spend 5, we'll do 5 million. Now, this is a month, right? There's economies of scale within that. So if you spend £1,000, you'll do 10. Right? On average, paid leads are anywhere between 25 to 75 for most sectors. Now, if you want to make marketing really work for you, my advice is to find an operating model in your business that has a high ticket, high margin product. The bigger the order value, the better the margin, the more money you have to reinvest. Try not to mess around with small ticket products and services because they cost a lot of money. It costs a lot of money to acquire a customer. That's what usually limits most small businesses. To scale up, you must track every marketing channel. And remember, buying leads is not a waste of time. Generating leads is not a waste of time. If you have some leads and you don't convert them, I'd go to check your sales process. Because if you can't convert and you have no sales process, you can get the best quality leads in the world and you'll be missing all of that opportunity. Okay, next we're going to jump into the top 7 reasons why businesses don't grow their sales. Who in this room's not generating sales, not setting sales targets in their business right now? Raise your hands. Who doesn't set sales targets? Okay, remember, you can't hit what you can't see. Yeah, sales targets are the first thing that you need to focus on every day, every week, every month, because that's the revenue. We've got to know what revenue we need to hit to break even and make a profit. So I really want you to focus on that first thing every day. Number 2, businesses don't grow because they don't know their customer. We've got to understand who we're actually selling to. Number 3, we've got to understand what our competition are offering. Do a competitor analysis. Ring up, go to their business, get quotes, check their websites, do what you need to do and do a competitor analysis. Check, okay? So when you go and sell your products and service, you're confident that you're the best. Number 4, businesses don't know their products inside out. Number 5, businesses that don't scale, that don't grow their sales, they don't have a sales process, yeah? So how are we converting leads? Leads, sales, okay, delivery. Leads, sales, delivery. That's what I want you to think about. We call it the perfect repeatable week, okay? A system where you can generate leads and sell product, do delivery, get paid. Okay, businesses that don't grow their sales, they don't follow up. Grant Cardone in America, big sales trainer. Came across him when I was 23 years of age and I didn't know anything about sales or marketing. He really woke me up to what needed to be done if you wanted to grow a business. And when I started taking sales and marketing seriously, okay, that's when my revenue started to explode. Yeah? So you've got to follow up the fortunes in the follow-up. And then finally, businesses that don't grow their sales have never had sales training. Put your hand up in this room if you've never had sales training. Okay? Quite a few people, yeah? And in most cases, that's what most entrepreneurs don't have, or they don't like making sales. If you don't like making sales as an entrepreneur, you have no business being in business, yeah? Because business is all about revenue. It's about sales first, because if you're not making a sale, you're not getting a customer. Okay, now I'm just going to bring your attention to the bottom statistic, because most people, they really underappreciate how much activity needs to happen to close a customer, to win a customer. And only 10% of salespeople are willing to make more than 3 points of contact. Yeah, that means that 90% of your competition give up after the customer says their first no or doesn't reply to the quote or the estimate. Okay, but if you look on the right-hand side, and this was a real wake-up call statistic for me, 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th point of contact. 80%. How many touch points are you having with your customer? And if it's not 5, you're not in the realms of where 80% of the business is done. I think I've lost my forward slide. Can go backwards, but I can't go forwards. Oh, it's jumped up a little bit too far now. Okay. So Warren Buffett says the most important investment you can make is in yourself. Warren Buffett's net worth, 100 billion or thereabouts. And then finally, second from last secret. These are the departments that you need to focus on, okay, if you want to scale up your organization. Really important to get a good understanding of these. So number 1, you need a good company structure. Number 2, you must have a business plan. When I first started my organization at 22, I had no plan. I thought that made me a badass entrepreneur. Yeah, I could start a business with no plan, until I realized that only gets you so far, okay? And then now I review my plan every week with my senior team to make sure that we are on track to the numbers and on track to the milestones. So it's a mindset shift, okay? We need a strategy. Well, a strategy really encompasses every point on this presentation. We need sales, we need marketing, we need operations, we need to quantify our supply chain, we need recruitment. We need to be able to bring in great people. You can't do it alone. You can't be a one-man band and expect to build a business that creates time, freedom, choice, and profit. You need people and processes if you want to make money without having to work and take a step back. Human resources, HR, how do we keep, retain and train our people? Number 10 is finance. We've got to look at the numbers. Are we profitable or not? Do we know what our break even really is? Do we understand our margins? Have we got a look on cash flow? Do we know what our business is doing? 11, we need management information, KPIs, think key performance indicators. These are the data points that will keep you on track to know if your business is winning, okay, or if it's going backwards, yeah? So you can have some really simple ones as you scale up and grow. And then remember, every business, in my opinion, should be built towards an exit strategy. You should be looking to exit from day one. Begin with the end in mind. Because if you build towards an exit, by default, you make yourself redundant, don't you? Because you're going to put in the people, the systems, and the processes, and the leadership team that will take over from you. And then you've got choices. You can choose to sell, or you can keep the business, let it cash flow, and go and do some other stuff. You might go and follow some passions, or you might want to go and invest in some other side projects, but build towards an exit, okay, and it will help you get in the right mindset to create the infrastructure that you need to be able to scale up. So the incorrect beliefs that we've broken with this talk here today is number 1, we know that word of mouth is only going to get us so far. We need a paid proactive marketing strategy if we want to scale up our organization. Number 2, don't wait for customers to come to you. That's the fastest way that businesses fail. This statistic you hear about businesses failing in the first 5 years, it's because they don't know how to get customers and cash flow. okay? They don't know how to market. They don't know how to get customers. They make the best restaurants, they make the best gyms, and no one shows up. Okay? If no one's showing up, of course the business is going to go bust. Okay? So that's why you've got to focus on the sales and marketing to ensure customers becomes your priority. And then number 3, we need to understand every part of our infrastructure if we want to scale, okay, our organization to 7 figures and beyond. And then finally, when the slide shows up, I'd just be saying to you guys, okay, that you are the best investment you will ever make. You've done amazing to get this far. Do not try and get to the next level alone. You don't need to have all of the answers. You need people around you that are going to support you and help you and guide you to level up. Partners are great, okay, but you need mentors. You need people that aren't emotional about your business journey. You need people that are going to give you the facts, the figures, okay, and the harsh reality of what it is that you need to do next. I want you to get clear on those next steps. I want you to remove the confusion. And then if you invest in personal development and education, I like to see it as a fast track to getting the results that you want. So find a mentor, find a coach, find somebody within your niche that's going to teach you to scale up, that's going to help you to level up, and you will be very, very successful. If it shows up on the next slide, there's a QR code, okay, and there's a free copy of my book, Expelled from the Classroom to Billionaire Boardroom, so you can scan that when the slide comes up, okay, and fill out the form. You'll get a copy of the book, and then we can keep in contact from there. Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you very much for listening, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it, and we're going to do a Q&A after.
Joseph, if you just join me here for a second.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah.
So that was great, wasn't it? Everybody, Joseph Valente, that was fantastic.
Thank you.
Such an energizing way to start day 2 here live at Elite Business Live 2025. So thank you very much for that. I feel like that really reinforced lots of the themes that we heard about yesterday. So the importance of community, of having a vision, setting targets, and the idea that you don't have to have all the answers. I think that's really reassuring. And clearly lots of the answers are in your book, which everyone is now going to get a copy of. I just want to ask you quickly, one quick question, because I was scouring your social media last night, as any good journalist would. And I couldn't help noticing that you said that the government isn't doing a very good job of fixing problems faced by the business community. I think it's probably something we can all agree on. Do you think Rachel Reeves needs some advice from Joseph Valente?
Yeah, I think so. I've been leading a campaign on social media to get entrepreneurs in government because at the moment, we've got career politicians that have never run a business. So how are they going to be able to do great things for the business community in the UK if they don't understand the rules of the game? So I think it's about having the right business leaders supporting politicians to be able to create a thriving economy for all of us.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And tell me, what does success look like to Joseph Valente? You mentioned the $1 billion. Or £1 billion, sorry, that you would like to get to. Yesterday we had Simon Squibb here on this stage talking about, for him, success was about time, because time's the one thing you can't buy.
Yeah.
Yeah, what does success look like in your mind?
Progression.
Right.
Results. For me, success is results-based. You can be a success once, okay, but to be successful, you need to continue to win. So it's waking up every day to be a better version of yourself. You can get 1% better every day. For me, that's what success is.
Excellent. That's a great note on which to get the rest of your fellow panellists up here. Will you stick around, join the panel? Fantastic. We'll be coming back with that just in 1 second's time.